Hello and welcome to the PitStop Report. No Formula One to report on. This week we have to make up the news from other places, but at least I'm joined by a Formula One fan for once. Thank you very much, Lexi, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We're not joined by Alex and his brilliant motorsport ideas this week, unfortunately. As brilliant as they were, I'd much rather speak to someone who actually has an understanding of what I'm on about rather than keep trying to bring anything back to MotoGP, because that's the only thing he's interested in. Let's start with Doriane Pan, who tested the Mercedes 2021 car. Silverstone, I believe, became just the second woman to test an F1 car in the 2020s after Jessica Hawkins in 2023 did for Aston Martin. For you especially, as a woman, how inspiring is it seeing things like that?
It's really, really inspiring. I think definitely it's just amazing seeing teams actively scout for women in driving, whether that's MotoGP or Formula E. It's just such an amazing achievement for those women, even if it's just a test circuit. It's a step up.
It's getting them that chance from driving go-karts and never getting any further than that. And it inspires these young women of the next generation to push on in motorsport.
Definitely.
And I think it's almost inevitable that one day we will see a female F1 driver again.
And I hope it's like that, because I think just seeing someone instead of all the men on the grid, I can't wait for that change to happen. It's just going to be the best thing, I think.
Exactly. I mean, so I can't understand as much as you can how great it is to see a female driver on the grid, because I've grown up with always men on the grid. Whereas you and other women, they have to grow up seeing these men drive and thinking, no one here is like me. And there's people like Doriane Pan, Abby Pulling, and Jamie Chadwick, and all these others that are changing that, and then eventually will hopefully have someone female on the grid, whether it's one of them three, or whether it's in the future one of these current girls driving up, building their way through the rankings. Could they be the first to do it again?
Definitely have to thank Susie Wolff for it, though.
Absolutely, she is
paved the way for most.
She is incredible.
She's like the role model for women.
For any young girl who grows up wanting to get into motorsport, people like Susie Wolff, even like Claire Williams, people like that are who you really need to look to see that you can do it and you can be so inspiring. And it's through nothing but their hard work and their talent.
Completely. The amount of work that they put in just to have their voice heard, it's absurd. It's like what men in Formula One do on an average daily basis, but we do that every hour or something like that.
You have to fight 10 times harder to get any sort of opinion in.
Just to get a little bit of noise out. And it's crazy. And it's not just the drivers on the driver's side, it's the whole grid. You're seeing a shift from mechanics, engineers, people back home that you don't even see on the F1 weekends. The shift is amazing.
I think her name's Hannah Schmitz, the Red Bull lady.
Yeah, that's the one.
She's absolutely incredible. She's one of the best at her job in Formula One as a whole. And that's another person. That's for those, because not everyone wants to be interested in motorsport and wants to be a driver. People want to be on the technical side. And it's people like her that people can look to. People like Bernie Collins as well, who's now Sky Sports Analysis, was at Aston Martin. People like her that people can look to and say, I don't have to just go into these sort of roles. There are also all the other roles that are changing and now I can go into.
And it's like with the FIA as well, it's like the amount of women we're starting to see kind of join them, when I believe it was majority men-based. I don't know if it was just men at once, but the females... It
wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. But the females that are just popping up and just... It's crazy, and the amount they get paid for as well is also... They get like barely anything compared to a male in their job.
So there's a whole another issue that
I think
ridiculous, but
the credit that the women are sometimes not getting, I think, is crazy.
And we're starting to see that change now. I think as well as online as well as people on social media. I mean, even just away from the track entirely, just female fans in general. Firstly, there's more of them, and secondly, they're starting to get the respect they deserve. Because sometimes you do get these twats who will always call any female F1 fan,
especially if you're a Lando Norris fan, like I am.
You just like them because they're attractive, or you're just a Drive to Survive fan.
Yeah. I saw that, and it was like the majority of Drive to Survive fans are actually male instead of female, and it's crazy that they put the blame on that when actually...
it's a ridiculous opinion when the majority, where there's so many, especially the new fans, many new fans, whether they're male or female, came from Drive to Survive, because that completely blew up the sport into even more of a main... I mean, you could even argue it wasn't that mainstream before, especially compared to what it is now. It's got its own movie.
Definitely 2020, 2019, it was very... you didn't find many people into it, I found.
No.
But all of a sudden, there's just this massive kind of shot of fans just everywhere. No matter where you go, you will see a F1 fan or someone in a F1 shirt.
You always see some sort of F1 memorabilia or F1 advertising or anything. Whereas 10 years ago, it was really rare to see. You know, people knew Lewis Hamilton, but you didn't really...
You didn't know anyone else.
No one was going around wearing their Mark Webber hats. Just wasn't like that. Whereas nowadays, people will be around rocking Liam Lawson. I, just to be clear, I love Liam Lawson, but he's not as big as these other drivers.
Completely. And it's crazy, the demand for it. And I think the demand for the fans, because that's gone up and all of that stuff, I think the demand for female in Formula One has also gone up, and people have recognised patterns of males, and they've gone, hold on, wait a minute, I don't like that, and they've called it out, which is amazing, because a couple of years ago they wouldn't have called it out, they would have just stayed in their place, whereas now it's like, actually this isn't right, we need to change this.
We're getting to a point where it's sort of a 50-50 split between male and women in terms of fans, and now it's just starting to get that in the teams as well, getting that closer to that equal percentage. And then it's all the other parts getting that to being equal, and eventually, who knows, maybe we see a half female F1 grid.
It's crazy that it's taken this long, but I'm glad it's happening now, because at least it's happening.
You get to see it happen, and it's because of this generation, I think, that they've pushed, they've seen the women of the past lead the way for them, and they've said they're using social media and they're using their voice now to push and demand for this equality, and it's starting to come. And it's not for just them saying, oh, we want this, it's from them proving that they deserve it.
It's we need this. And I think as well, like, people like Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris have said in interviews, I would love to see some female drivers out on the grid. And I just think the older generation, they want the men. They want to see men driving. Whereas I think the newer generations that are coming into Formula One, they're more open to seeing both men and females on the track. And I just think if they're wanting that, why can't the FIA give us that, you know?
Even just like, why not have some sort of an event, like a practice session? Like, why don't we just have some female drivers get a chance at a practice session? You know, it's been so long since it was Susie Wolff 10 years ago for Williams who got that chance. Why not give this new generation of women who have been doing karting since they were the same age as the men who will go into Formula One in the future? Why don't we give them their chance now to show, just not even, it's not a case of them maybe getting into F1 for certain, but it's the case of just them demonstrating to women that we can do this.
But I think it's like, if you give the teams would be actually surprised about what female drivers can do, because I feel if you give them the same setup, same team, same kind of money, same backing, I really think that some of the female drivers will be able to push what it means to be a Formula One driver. And I think the teams need to open themselves and go, that is a Formula One driver, that is...
Especially people like Abby Pulling, for me, she is so incredibly talented. I think she has real good potential, and I think she should be given why not just give her a chance? It doesn't even have to be an F1 test. It could be something like a private test or at one of these events, things like Goodwood, where they have the historic F1 cars. We
Yeah.
do see some women get that chance. We start to see more, hopefully.
Yeah. It's a step, and even if it doesn't seem like the biggest step, it is a step.
It's a massive step.
Yeah.
To go from not getting a chance
Yeah.
in the car to getting a chance in any car in any event
Yeah.
is a massive step. And then it's a case of progressing up the
Yeah.
ladder, and the end goal is a female F1 driver,
Yeah.
which will hopefully happen
I'd
in
like
the
to
next
see it in
10 years or so.
Yeah, I'd like to see it in the time that I'm living.
Exactly. I mean, I'd be very surprised if we didn't, with the way things are going right
completely.
now. And I think it will be such a cool moment.
Yeah, it'd be definitely well worth waiting for,
Yeah.
and just history.
Yeah. But the thing is, you can now guarantee that when it does happen, they'll make some sort of mistake.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, everyone's on her.
Yeah.
And it's all of a sudden, oh, we should have never let women do this.
Even if it was like the engineer's fault or the mechanics,
I think
it's
that's
still
the
going to go
issue.
back to the driver.
You so often risk, because there are some idiots online, you'll do this great moment and they'll maybe make a small mistake, which anyone could make, and all of a sudden, oh, we're taking 10 steps back because of the criticism they get.
Yeah, it was like Lando Norris before he won in Miami, completely getting hated for not winning an F1 race. But if you look at him now, won Miami, then got world championship.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And what's mad though is he's probably more hated now.
Yeah. And I'm like, but he's proved that he can do it. And
People will never be satisfied.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen got hated when he was in the dominant car. He's now more loved, maybe not as much this season, but he's more lovable now because he's no longer... People love an underdog until they're not an underdog.
Yeah,
and I think it could be the same here with getting a woman to F1. People love the idea of it until it happens.
Yeah, they'll hate it so much, but then you have to admit they're good. And I think if you were to put the haters in an F1 car, they would not know what to do.
No.
They'd crash it. And I think that's the thing. I think people, especially haters, need to kind of put in their head, hold on, wait a minute. The stuff they do is really complex and it takes years of training.
99% of the people on this planet couldn't do any sort of driving an F1 car.
Yeah.
There's such a minuscule amount of people who can, and that will hopefully be eventually contained with more women than it is right now.
Yeah, completely.
Just really hope that they deliver.
Yeah. I think the female drivers deserve a chance to at least try.
Yeah. And it's not even just like on the paddock. It's not just on the track.
Yeah.
In the paddock in general, people like Bernie Collins and Natalie Pinkham and all these fantastic presenters, we are starting to see more women get their chance in presenting.
Completely.
But as well, it brings back to the point of when one's bad, everyone get this I hate on everyone. Because Danica Patrick, we can all admit, sorry Danica, not really, sucks.
Yeah, completely.
She's awful.
Yeah.
And it creates such a negative stigma around women in motorsport.
Yeah.
When it's like, no, because look around her, look at the other women who are...
Look at the ones in the back, which are doing the work on the cars.
Exactly.
And researching stuff. So.
And they're delivering fantastic results to fantastic teams. Don't focus on this one terrible pundit who's now gone, thankfully, for Jenson Button.
Poor Jenson Button.
He deserves so much more. He's such a lovable guy. He would love a woman on the grid for certain.
I think, especially Sir Jackie. I think he
Sir
would
Jackie
really.
Stewart.
I think he is definitely one for having females on the track.
I think it's so positive that there are so many prominent male figures in F1 who are pushing for this, because it's still such a majority of men in F1. They have to help the women rise from the back.
They recognise that actually it's such a sexist sport and they need the females there. I think they're starting to realise that too, and I like how they're realising that.
Yeah, because you look back 20 years, a female's role on the grid for the most part would be these grid girl roles.
Yeah.
Which was just incredibly sexualising of them.
Yeah, completely.
And was just basically a cheerleading exercise without any cheerleading.
People would just watch the sport just to see them, and I'm like, but not the actual driving, which...
No, but now we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
The only time we're seeing a woman on screen is when they're doing something.
Yeah, when they're working.
Yeah, and it's such a beautiful change.
Yes, definitely.
That was a nice segue to enter. We do have sadder news from the weekend, unfortunately. We had, in the NLS series, Juha Mietinen, I may be pronouncing his name wrong, apologies if so, unfortunately passed away in a collision in the qualifiers. Horrible accident, 7 cars involved. The 6 other drivers involved, luckily, were no life-threatening injuries, but unfortunately, one death, which just reminds us of the sport that motorsport is.
Yeah, it's like Max Verstappen said on his Instagram. It was the death reminded them of how dangerous the sport they love can be, and I just think that's so true.
Yeah, no matter how much we do to make it safe, there's always an element of risk, and it's so much higher than other sports because of how the sheer speed that these cars are going at.
And I think they push that every year. They push the boundary of danger and safety, and sometimes they kind of blur the line between them. And I think that's when you start to find the danger and the accidents happening, because no matter what you do, you're still going to get that odd crash that can potentially lead to something bad like death.
And unfortunately here, for Juha, was 66 years old, a man who had dedicated his life to racing. I mean, I think he got in the NLS series 5 wins, 25 podiums. He knew what he was doing. He was such a talented driver, and all of a sudden that's taken away in a freak accident that it's part of motorsport, crashing, but death shouldn't be. And unfortunately,
it should just be serious injuries.
And you can't. It's one of those where no matter how much safety you put in, you can never really say it can be 100% safe, just because the nature of the sport. And that's the risk you take every time you get in that car.
Yeah, it's like you can plan for all possibilities, but the one thing you can't plan for is someone dying.
No. So many other times you could have a crash of the same nature and then be okay. But it's just that one time that you can't predict. I wonder, what would you feel it's like going into the car the day after for these other drivers?
I'd be such a nervous wreck, especially for people like Charles Leclerc, who watch their best friends kind of die on the track in the same car or similar cars that they're going to drive like the day after. For
Charles especially, that was obviously in reference to Anton Hubert, who died in 2019 in an F2 race, but Charles Leclerc's godfather, Jules Bianchi, the last death in Formula One, like that's, for him especially, I can't imagine how difficult it must have been in the immediate aftermath of those.
To still drive as well, it's really, I don't know how they do it. I think they have to kind of tune out their thoughts. And
it's a real testament to their character to say that they're going to get in the car. And for Charles especially, he won that 2019 Belgian Grand Prix. He won that for Antoine. And, Pierre Gasly as well, Antoine's close friend, delivering results. We've seen every year since. He delivers a beautiful tribute at the crash site. It's so empowering to see how they cope
and
in
how
the hardest
they
of
don't
times.
Forget as well, because I like how they still remember every year that the sport is dangerous, and sometimes they are going to lose people that they love and that they're friends with, and I feel like it could have been so easy for them to just go, I don't really,
it can be so easy to just within a few years you become just another accident. But no, we still talk about Antoine, we still talk about Jules, and we'll still talk forever about all these other drivers who have lost their lives doing what they love. Juha, unfortunately, being another on that toll.
Sorry, I've talked too much, I do. But I definitely just think the fact that they don't forget and they still remember, and like the world stops to take a minute and just remember the fact that people can die from it. I just think it's such a beautiful thing when it's such a nasty topic.
And it's one of those, when you're in a sport like motorsport, we can't do anything like taking the weekend off. There's just not that possibility.
It's such a fast-paced sport.
There's too many fans, there's too many events happening that you can't just postpone something for this sort of incident.
You can't go I'm too sad today.
Yeah.
I'm too tired today.
But it's then how you deal with that and remember.
Yeah.
Firstly, if you're a driver having to deal with that sort of grief, how do you channel your emotions to keep going?
Yeah.
But then it's also letting them be shown at times to mourn and to pay respect for those who've lost.
I think they've got really good emotional control, because I think they can just literally shut it off and then turn it back on, and it's like a normal human being could not do that. They're just superhuman beings, they are.
Yeah, a normal human should be taking the time out to grieve.
Yeah.
But they only get 12 hours tops. They have to push forward.
Yeah.
And keep going and find the time elsewhere.
Yeah, they can't grieve until after the race.
Yeah.
Not even that. And I just think, wow, that is crazy.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Yuha wasn't the only person to lose their life in a motorsport incident this week. We had a rally car incident in Argentina where a 25-year-old spectator unfortunately lost his life in another horrible accident in the Codsur Rally Championship.
Yeah.
Another one, which is we're spectators, especially. You go to these races hoping for a fun time, see your heroes driving around.
Yeah.
How can you you can't anticipate that that's your last minutes.
Yeah, but I think with rally though, when you look at it, the whole thing about rallying is, yes, they're driving round places which they have tight turns, tight corners. But you've also, rallying's different because you've got people standing so close to the action. And I just think, wow. Yeah,
some of the clips you've seen of just how close some of the fans get. They are trying to get as close as they can.
I know, and you just think, okay, one, that's amazing, but two, aren't you not scared? Aren't you, are you sure you should be that close?
Yeah.
Because I think definitely with the spectator, not the spectator, what's his... Sorry, give me a minute. I definitely think with the death this weekend, that it definitely just shows how dangerous standing too close can get you too.
Yeah. And
it's crazy how some people can just stand right in front of a fast-moving car and just go.
That's almost the beauty of rally driving. Is that there's such a great element of it is how close the fans are allowed to get.
Yeah.
And it makes rally driving the most difficult motorsport in the world, I'd say.
I feel like that is rally driving wouldn't be rally driving if you didn't have fans standing close.
Exactly.
But it's like, there was this clip that I saw, it wasn't from this race, but it was a rally race through, I think, a vineyard, and a truck actually started to drive out as a car was coming, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, because these are on public roads. These aren't on racetracks. Yeah. These are all just on mountain roads.
Yeah.
And anything could come. You have a flock of animals come at any point.
It's like the reflexes they have compared to Formula Ones, where the track's
ridiculous.
The track's kind of set out. You know what to expect.
Yeah.
And there's that odd kind of time where you overtake someone, or someone overtakes you, or someone stops.
Yeah.
But compared to rally racing, you need to be really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, not just okay, you need to be the best. Because, if a bird lands or something, not that they would, but But
it could, and the tracks are longer in rallies. There's more to memorise to start with, and then there's so many other elements.
Fans crossing over, and it's a bit like...
You could have a tree branch fall in front of you, and you have to suddenly see that and go at 150 miles an hour past it.
And try not hit the fans, hit a tree.
Yeah, try not lose control and swerve out or anything.
And you kind of go, oh my God, because the speed that they're doing for the reflexes that a normal person has, it's a bit like...
An F1 driver has lightning reflexes. They are 0.05 seconds. They'll react to a light. How quick must they be in rally? It must 0.01.
It has to be the best of the best, because if it's not, you're a dead man on that track, I think. Which is just... I look at one video and I'm like, how are they not exhausted after just that one turn? I'm like, come on. Yeah.
Look, two very sad events over the weekend, though, the two lives lost. That just take a moment to remind us of that this is our great mini series of this sport. Yeah. But there's always they're always at risk, no matter what we do, no matter how much we push and get more safety requirements installed.
They're always, you can plan for so many possibilities, but you can never plan for a death or an accident, because all accidents are different. You can have an accident in the same place, but the impact is going to be different. The car could be crushed a bit more. The person could have hit it with more force. And I just think you just have to take a minute to go, oh my God, are they okay?
Yeah. The FAA have received some criticism from these events. They've also received a lot of criticism for the Formula One regulations this year. As a Formula One guest is finally on the podcast, we can finally get an actual opinion on these regulations.
Hate them.
Good.
Most of the years, I've been a fan since 2018 to kind of 2019. Every single year, except from kind of 2020, I've watched every single race. I've been there. This year, I have not been able to stand at least one race. I've had to turn it off midway because I'm just like, what the actual hell is going on?
Yeah. And so in the races, it seems like we've had 3 so far this season, and the same sort of stories have been in each one, where a Mercedes is on pole, a Mercedes has lost the lead off the start, a Mercedes has got that lead back.
And it's like McLaren are nowhere to see now, be seen now, and it's
that's because we couldn't get on the grid for the first few. Which, once Oscar was on the grid, he was pretty good and actually really could have won had the safety car not happened.
Yeah.
But it's one of those this year, qualifying especially, feels like such a drag at times. This whole super clipping thing is ridiculous.
Yeah. I miss DRS.
I do. It was just simpler. The ground effect era for it got a lot of stick, but for what it was fine compared to this. It was simple enough.
Yeah.
You had the battery element that people could use, and it didn't drown out in 5 seconds.
And it's like the drivers, they got used to driving that, and I just feel like you've kind of got everyone used to that kind of regulation, and then you've gone, nah, I'm going to change everything, and I'm going to make their life harder.
Because this was such a big change. Even from like 2021 to 2022, that sort of change. Yeah. There were so many, but there was still a lot of the same sort of design parts.
It was adjustable. You could adjust to it, whereas this
is such a step.
Yeah, you're relearning everything. And it's, quite a few of the presenters have kind of gone, even if they're not from Sky, all of the kind of smaller presenters have gone, this is terrible. They don't like it.
You can't wrap their head around it. Yeah. There's so many new things. And
it's bonkers.
We've got this 50-50 split for the electrical and natural engine now. And it just doesn't work, in my opinion.
No.
I think, you had the Formula E CEO. He was criticising F1 for trying to be too electric, because Formula One isn't an electric sport.
That's why you have Formula E. And it's a bit like you're trying to move to something that exists already for a reason. It's not Formula 1/E, it's Formula 1, and then you have Formula E.
In Formula 1, please the people who want to see fast cars in engines that are in V8s and V12s. They don't want to see such a heavy influence on the battery. I don't mind like a little bit of the influence on the battery. The ground effect era had a fine enough balance of it. But
you don't want to see people braking down mid-race. It's like, you want to see driving.
You want to see someone take an overtake and not have to recharge their battery so they lose it immediately. What's the point of the overtake then if you can't even keep it?
Yeah, and they're making a whole mess of it, I think. They had a perfect setup and they've just kind of gone, nah.
Yeah. I think they wanted the idea, the whole idea of these regulations, they wanted it to be faster. Yeah. Because they wanted to please the fans. But they've gone about it in such the wrong way. Maybe in some aspects it is faster, but it's not consistent.
No, and it's like, if you ask any Formula One fan, they pretty much go, nah, it's boring now.
The only people who like these regulations are Mercedes and Ferrari.
Because they're
good.
Yeah.
They've got it right, whereas everyone else is slacking a bit, especially Red Bull, and especially because of that Max Verstappen.
I'm pretty sure something's happening with Max Verstappen, though. I'm not sure what, because I think it was his engineer has signed for McLaren.
GP's joining McLaren in 28.
And you just kind of go, oh, something's going on there, because why would they split? But
Yeah, I think it's one of those where I think GP will have gone to McLaren because Red Bull just seems to be at times a bit of a sinking ship right now. And then I think that will more than anything push Verstappen to explore new options.
Because Red Bull lost Adrian Newey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think
there's so many people at Red Bull have lost over just the last 2 years.
And it's just slowly going down, and Max isn't winning anymore, so they're like, don't really want to be here if we're not winning.
Yeah, could Red Bull leave Formula One?
Who knows?
I think it's a real possibility. What happens with V-Carb then? Who knows whether they rebrand?
Well, you look at Red Bull though; they're not going to have a huge loss if they leave Formula One. They might, but
at their heart they're meant to be an energy drinks company.
Yeah,
they do everything but energy drinks. But do you know who could come in actually? If we want to keep an energy drink team in, Rich Energy could come back. Imagine the scenes. I mean, I don't think they exist anymore. I don't know what happened with William Soros, whatever his name was. But hopefully he's created a drink. Hopefully he actually has a company now. And maybe Gunter Steiner comes back on board, rekindle that friendship.
That'd be amazing.
Main thing, I just want to see Porsche on the grid though.
That would be absolutely amazing.
I don't know how much I see Porsche as an F1 team though. I think
they're more like sports.
Yeah, I see them in Le Mans. I see them in GT3. I don't know if I see them in F1. Same with people like BMW even.
It's like I see Audi, definitely see Audi, but not so much Porsche. Can't really think. Like Bugatti, would you see those?
I was just thinking that, but Bugatti is such a sleek, noble kind of car design that I just think you put that in an F1 and it just looks wrong.
Yeah, completely. I think with F1 you've got to have cars who are produced by the teams that are already aerodynamic. Like with the McLarens, they're quite aerodynamic. They look sporty and they look fast. And I think because of that, they were able to bring that to Formula One. But I think if you bring something in like BMW, it's just going to look so out of place.
Maybe something like Koenigsegg could be an idea. I feel like they've got the raw sort of...
Yeah, they've got the carbon kind of right there.
Same with like Pagani as well.
Yeah.
Those are the sort of companies who I think could explore whether they're interested. With currently how Formula One's going.
It's so much more expensive to put cars into Formula One.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I'm surprised Audi have been able to do it.
Yeah. But I suppose Audi have the benefit of they have their sport cars, but they also have all their other cars that families buy. Someone like Koenigsegg or Pagani, they are purely very expensive,
rich,
but sell less cars.
Yeah. They are for like the rich of the rich.
Yeah.
So I think Audi, I think they announced it back 2021, 2022.
Yeah. It's a long process, long way.
And I think because they announced it back then, they were kind of, everything was cheaper then. So I think they were able to come into Formula One. But I think if you start now, trying to bring in another team, it's just the money, the logistics of everything going, I think it's just going to be too expensive and just very hard to get a team.
I mean, we're seeing Cadillac struggle.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to get up to the pace we're seeing.
But I think they've always kind of struggled.
Yeah. I was very happy when Cadillac got announced, but I was slightly surprised it was Cadillac of all companies who wanted to get involved. Yeah. Because Cadillac, they have obviously their muscle cars and things like that, but so many of them are these sort of business cars.
Yeah, you're mainly known for seeing them as SUV family cars, not really some sports car you're driving in Monaco or something.
I saw thousands of them in New York.
Yeah.
When I was there last year, and it was always an estate car, never a sleek car that you'd expect to go into F1.
I didn't see one at all when I went to Monaco in the half time. No. I saw Ferraris, Rolls Royce, but no Cadillacs.
Rolls Royce is definitely one who would never go into Formula One.
Yeah, I can't.
Bentley as well. Those are those are like
gentlemen, kind of like
Aston Martin's James
cars.
Bond, but they're so. But I think Aston Martin has developed and has changed.
Yeah, Aston Martin, I think they've found the right balance between kind of old time pieces, sport pieces, and also everyday kind of family ranges.
Whereas Bentley and Rolls Royce are very much
rich of the rich,
limos and things like that could never be put into any sort of motorsport. They just look out of place.
If you think about a rich person from London, they have a Bentley or a Rolls Royce, and I think that's
and they're not interested in Formula One unless they're investing in it.
Yeah, otherwise
Yeah.
They don't want to watch it.
Well, to finish off, we got 2 weeks, is it now, till Miami?
I think it's maybe it might be 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 1 week.
Yeah. We're getting close to
Yeah.
finally having Formula One back. It's been too long. It's been
Definitely.
really boring. It's been really
Yeah.
shit, and we're finally getting back.
Yes.
What do you reckon we could see in Miami?
I'm not sure. I think because, of course, they've announced that they're possibly changing regulations.
Just today it's going to be some tweaks made, unanimous decision, which
But
is rare in Formula One to get unanimous decision. Shows how much everyone is disdained.
But, of course, we don't know how big those are going to be. And that's quite a tight turnaround, I think, for quite a few of the teams. So I have a feeling that nothing's going to change for Miami, but possibly races after, they might tweak stuff. I think we could see much of the sameness. I know the Miami track is slightly easier. I'm not saying that it's the easiest, but
in the sense,
compared to Monaco, it is one of the easier.
It's a bit more of an open track at times. You've got that really tight chicane, but apart from that, a lot of it is these wide corners with lots of runoff.
And it's definitely a party city. Because I remember when they first announced Miami, it was very controversial because it was like, but it's a party city, it's not really a Formula One city. I always remember that big debate going on, and people were like, oh. But now it is grown to be one favourite, that and Monaco, definitely a favourite of mine. So I think we could see quite a lot of the same with the way it's going. I think Kimi is still probably going to lead the championship, probably. I can't.
It's one of those now with currently how it looks. You can't really say.
Yeah, you can't predict it at all.
Unless you make a really outlandish one. You know, I'm not expecting, as a McLaren fan, I'm not expecting Lando or Oscar to win. I'm expecting it to be more Mercedes and Ferrari. I'm expecting us to maybe push for a podium, but I'm not.
I'm hoping that there's a possibility, but I think it's going to be Mercedes, maybe Ferrari, slight chance of anyone else.
And maybe then Verstappen may be able to get going again. But I mean, and we saw in like China especially, where at the start he just didn't get going. And that was not his fault, obviously, that's just the car. But if that happens, you can't really do much because the start's more important than anything you'd say.
And you can't, because of the regulations, you can't predict anything. You can't go, Verstappen's going to win, because he's not winning anymore.
No, it's realistically George or Kimi.
Yeah.
You said Kimi. I'm personally going to go George. I think he's had a few weeks to rejuvenate himself.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to rejuvenate himself because he needs to get...
But that's the other thing. They've had weeks to kind of train, go over. So it could literally go the opposite way. It could be
the teams have had weeks to get their cars fixed. And we haven't been able to see how they're performing. We could be coming back and maybe Cadillac have got everything going. Yeah,
drivers have been able to train on the cars and get used to them a bit more better, I think. So it's really going to be hard to predict anything that does happen, but I think we can kind of follow that. Possibly Ferrari or Mercedes is going to get up on the podium.
For now, we're still probably in the same boat that we were in Japan in terms of the order.
Yeah.
But we could, hopefully these tweaks have enough of an effect where even if Mercedes is still the best car, it's just a closer gap.
Yeah.
You just don't want to see the same thing happen every week.
Yeah, you don't want to see McLaren not being able to race or having to start from pits.
Drive to Survive is going to have to really make up some stuff this year.
They're going to have to find some dirt.
I mean, they managed to create Sauber versus Alpine last year, which was impressive considering how much that wasn't a rivalry. So this year, could we see Cadillac and Aston Martin? They're both at the bottom. We're going to see some really good episodes of showing Lance Stroll overtake Valtteri Bottas to then go pit and retire.
I definitely think the DTS producers are going to have to work overtime, though, to get some good stories.
And they need to, because it's slacking off recently. Last season was kind of shit.
Yeah. I know they made a lot of stuff about Lando Norris and his girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And
I don't care about that.
Yeah, it's like they had a whole go for showing WAGs, but then I know someone proved it was like, altogether it was just a minute of a whole race, and it's just a bit like, I mean, I wouldn't like to see it, but at the same time, people are overreacting.
I think it was more of an issue because you did have these slight moments where it was like they've cut to a wag while something's really good's happening. And there's those moments
really
where they sometimes, but I think that's an issue not so much with that. Like we saw it with other things. They're looking at the wrong bit of racing going on. That's just poor F1 TV direction, which just represents Formula One as a whole. Often poorly run.
And I bet you probably in the DTS season that is coming, they'll probably say something about Charles and Alexandra possibly. Because they got married.
I don't mind seeing them
They're
getting
quite
married.
nice.
That's quite nice.
It's the more controversial ones I don't like seeing.
It's just, I don't care. It's their private life.
Completely.
I think that's sort of sometimes the issue at DTS is sort of...
They've got to get a whole kind of range of everyone's opinions from the whole fan base and try and balance it out, and I don't think they have that balance right now.
No.
They definitely
But,
don't.
you know, if DTS can get things sorted, maybe Formula One can as well, and maybe...
There's hope.
Maybe we can get back to the good old days.
There's light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If the FIA get their arse in gear.
Yeah, definitely.
And just like actually deliver what we want, rather than saying we're going to deliver what you want and then delivering us
there's definitely
probably the exact opposite.
Yeah, there's definitely been a change from 2020, 2019. I know they didn't race in 2020, but that kind of...
They raced some.
Yeah.
We lost a lot.
That kind of area compared to now, there's definitely been a change in kind of the reality of Formula One. They've definitely made it less focused on driving, I feel, personally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still driving, but there is they bring it more personal life into it, and I think quite a few fans don't want to see that.
Yeah.
But then, it's all the Drive to Survive fans that want to see the private lives.
Yeah, but go watch The Real Housewives of Cheshire if you want that.
Just go and watch like Married at First Sight or something.
Yeah.
Not
that's
DTS.
That's not Formula One.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much,
You're welcome.
Lexi, for joining us today. It's been great having someone who actually knows about F1 to talk about all of this. And I think that brings us then to the end. Yeah, actually, before we do end, we've talked a little bit about Miami. Can we get a top 3 for the race?
That's going to be hard. Kimi, I'm not going to do it in order, but definitely Kimi, George and Charles.
Okay.
I think.
That's the podium locked in.
Yeah.
And we'll pretend it's in that order because that could probably be right.
Yeah.
But thank you very much again.
You're welcome.
And I think that brings us to the end.